Okay, so initially we will discuss about the BTP and then I will help you out to create the trial account. Okay, so
Okay.
that this recording will be shared across everyone so that they can also refer like how the BTP trial account is getting created on BTP. Okay, so we require guys the BTP trial account so that we can just simply we can execute or we can run and build the CAP applications on a BTP services. So that's why we require this account. If this account is not created, then it will be very hard for us to do the deployment and configuration of SAP CAP application on BTP. Okay. So before I explain what is BTP, let's understand today the important concept, cloud computing. Okay. So cloud computing, as you can see in a diagram, when you want to rent any specific resource, the resource like servers, virtual desktop, software, application, or storage, or networking. So any type of service, if you want to rent, so cloud computing will come into picture. So the reason behind why cloud computing is used, let's forget about the cloud computing. Let's understand. Let's say you want to build a software or application, whatever it is. So for building application, we require a setup, correct? We require the system configuration, we require system landscape, we require storage spaces, we require networking, all these different things we require if you are building an application from a scratch. So if there is a customer and customer who wants to build an application. Let's think about a customer who wants to build an application. Okay, just I'll show you. So this is your customer. Okay, and customer simply wants to build an application or any solution. Okay, so let's say he's building an application. So for building this application, guys, what an application requires? An application requires an runtime environment, correct? It requires an runtime environment, right? So let's say I require a runtime environment. Next thing I require after runtime environment, we require storage. We require a dedicated server, correct? Server. And what else we need if you're building an application, guys? What else we need? Runtime environment, storage spaces, and servers, and etc. Like we require some additional physical hardware or wires. There are a lot of things we require when you're building an application from a scratch. So as an initial level customer, so what happens with this approach is that if there is no cloud computing currently, so what happens with this infrastructure is that customer initially at initial level of development, customer has to focus on mostly on system landscape installation. Like he need to set up the system infrastructure, correct? A system infrastructure is required. He requires a storage space, he requires servers. So a lot of the money he is simply spending and lot of the efforts he is simply spending on managing this system landscape and the basic hardwares that is required for the application development or deployment. So when you're building a solution, you require your physical hardware, a physical hardware data centers, and this data centers to arrange this infrastructure, you have to pay a lot of money for that. So currently customer is looking for a solution in which, okay, customer is looking for a solution in which you don't have to play on or you just don't have to focus on the system landscape. Okay, so these things like runtime environment, storage, server. So customer don't want to manage this stuff. He just want to focus on application development and within less period of time he want to um, get this application on a market so that he can earn or he can start earning money from this application. Okay, because the demand for the application is more, but customer don't want to focus on the runtime environment, the storage, system landscape, software, which is required. He don't want to focus on this stuff. So for this, the cloud computing will come into picture. Now, what customer will do instead of owning a physical hardware or data centers, okay, instead of owning this physical hardware, data centers, storage or servers, what he can do, he can simply rent and he can simply rent all these data centers over the cloud. So when he's renting all this computing resources like servers, softwares, applications, so customer will not focus on, means customer can simply avoid focusing on the stuff like physical hardwares. He can just focus on an application which he is building. So you don't have to focus on the resources mostly like hardware, software and everything. Okay, he can just focus on his core product or on his core business so that he can just think about its business. Okay, at the end he will not focus on the things like the infrastructure. The basic need which is required for the application development is infrastructure. He will not focus on that stuff. Okay, so cloud computing is one of the computing services which generally includes servers. It generally includes servers. We have storage, databases, networking, softwares, analytics, and intelligence. So everything, you are getting everything over the internet. So you just need and machine. So just your laptop or computer or mobile device. From that, you can simply access all these resources. So do I really have to focus on a infrastructure setup in this case? No, I just have to avoid that. I don't want to pay any money for the infrastructure setup. I just want to pay for the services which I'm using. So cloud computing is providing you the models, different type of cloud computing models it is providing, and using that, whatever it's your demand for that model only you're going to pay. The services that you're using on a cloud computing, only for that services you're going to pay. Okay, so generally cloud computing is divided, like it provides three types of service models. One is infrastructure as a service. Second is your platform as a service. Sorry. Okay, so platform as a service, and third is software as a service. Now, three different service models are available in cloud computing. Now, let's understand what is infrastructure as a service. Now, when I say infrastructure, so you can simply rent the services like virtual machines, you can rent storage space and networking. Okay, so this will generally comes under the infrastructure. So if you just want to rent an infrastructure, you just need virtual machines, storage, and networking. So the best example for that is Amazon EC2. So Amazon EC2 is one of the service which Amazon is providing where you can just rent your virtual servers. Okay, where you can just run virtual server, which is going to help you to run applications or to store a data specific to the applications. So that is about the infrastructure. Now, the second service model which cloud computing provide is the platform as a service. Now, the platform, when I say a platform, means a place where where developers can build, they can run, they can manage applications. Okay, they can just manage, they can build, they can deploy all this stuff they can easily do on this platform without worrying about the infrastructure, whether that application will work or not. That you simply have to forget. You just have to focus on the application development and deployment. Okay, so one of the best example of platform as a service is your SAP BTP. Your SAP BTP is a best example for this, because a BTP is a platform as a service which provides an environment where you can deploy, where you can run your applications. Okay, so SAP BTP is one of the good example, and there is one more example, Google App Engine. Okay, so Google App Engine is also one of the best example where uh, Google provides a platform where developers can easily deploy their applications. And the last we have the software as a service. Now, what is software as a service? So just you're renting a software, for example, Gmail. So Gmail is a software which is available on a cloud, correct? So when you want to use, you can just rent, you can just use that services, just you need a internet connection working. So you can access those software based on subscription based model like Outlook is there. So there are so many things like Microsoft is providing, Google is providing. So all these services you can access, all these softwares you can access based on subscription based model. Okay, so Teams is also like a software. It's an cloud-based tool. It's a cloud software which is available over the internet. Just you need an internet connection working for that. So any questions in infrastructure, platform, and software, guys? At least you got the basic idea about the cloud computing. So let's recap what is cloud computing now. So when you want to rent a basic hardware, okay, you don't want to spend on the system landscape and the infrastructure, you just want to rent the resources on the internet. For that, the cloud computing will be beneficial. Okay, so as a customer, I don't want to spend any money on my infrastructure. I don't want to own any software, any hardware, nothing I have to own. I just want to rent the service, and only for the service which I'm renting, for that only I will pay. And that's nothing but a cloud computing. Okay, guys, is this clear? Any questions? Okay, fine. So now let's talk about the BTP. Okay, so why we discuss at initial level cloud computing? Because your BTP is one of the platform as a service. It's one of the platform as a service provider, and it's totally depends on a cloud computing because at the end you're renting resource on a BTP. Okay, so what is BTP now? So very interesting example of a BTP, correct? What is BTP? Who will answer like, guys, what do you know about BTP? Have you worked on BTP? Do you know what different services BTP is providing? Do you know, guys?
No, yeah, I've not worked on BTP with
Yeah, no worries, no worries. This
platform.
question is just for the other members. Like I think Narendra, I think he worked on BTP, Prasad also. All these people, guys, you are coming from SAP background only, right? So a basic overview. Do you know what BTP is exactly? If you don't know, it's fine. It's okay. Just asking, okay? Okay, so that's okay, guys. Let me explain what is BTP. So BTP is nothing but it's an I would say it's an SAP's integrated offering. So offering means it is providing a different services. Okay. So if you just say here, it is providing a services, services and various solutions. Okay. So BTP means it's an SAP's offering, SAP's integrated offering that brings together various services and solution in a single umbrella. So you can say there is an umbrella under that you're getting all the services, services which you need for application development, which you need for application deployment, services which is going to help you to integrate different systems that can be your SAP systems, non-SAP systems. So all those systems you can integrate in a single umbrella that is nothing but your BTP. Okay, so BTP is nothing but in short we say it's an SAP Business technology platform. Okay, so it's an business technology platform. So we call it as, in short, a platform as a service. Okay, platform as a service. Now, what is platform as a service? Platform as a service means it's providing us a runtime environment. Okay, so we are getting runtime environment where we can we can host applications, we can host applications and services on cloud. Okay, so it provides a runtime environment where we can host the different applications. Now on BTP, you can deploy your Fiori apps. One of the best example on BTP is that you can deploy your UI5, which is nothing but your Fiori apps you can deploy. You can deploy SAP CAP applications. You can deploy HANA native applications. So different type of applications you can deploy on SAP BTP. So when you deploy those applications, definitely those applications should work on your environment, right? It should work. If after deployment, if the applications is not working, then what is the use of the runtime environment? So BTP is providing us the runtime environment where we can host applications and the different solutions. So it can be your SAP solution and non-SAP solutions. All such applications or solutions you can deploy on a BTP. So BTP provides the runtime environment like different runtime environment it provides. For example, Cloud Foundry. It provides a Cloud Foundry runtime environment. It provides Kaima runtime environment. Okay, Kaima again is the runtime environment. Then it provides ABAP, ABAP runtime environment. So this runtime environments, who provides? BTP. Okay, and the old one, the very old runtime environment that BTP used to provide before the BTP came, like we used to call BTP as cloud platform. So we have a history that we will understand. But the BTP at initial level, before Cloud Foundry, before Kaima, and before ABAP, it used to provide Neo runtime environment. Okay, Neo runtime environment. So all this different runtime environment, BTP currently it is providing. So only from this three runtime environment, from this four runtime environment, which is the old runtime environment as of now, Neo runtime. Okay, so this is very old, and this runtime environment currently it is obsolete now. It is deprecated now. So it is no longer available because SAP has given a deadline till 2027 to migrate all their projects from Neo runtime environment to Cloud Foundry runtime environment. So we worked on a couple of applications where applications are already been hosted on a Neo runtime environment, and we migrated those Neo runtime applications to Cloud Foundry runtime applications. Okay, so 2027 is the last date which SAP has provided for all the SAP customers so that they can migrate their projects from Neo runtime to Cloud Foundry runtime environment. So again, it's a runtime environment only. Okay. So different type of runtime environment your BTP is providing. Now, how it's gonna help us in a real-time solution. So why it is helping us? Okay, that we will understand. See, first of all, we know this is a platform, and this platform provides various services. It provides various services. If you want to do the application development and integration, that is possible in BTP. That is very much easy because it provides and different services. Correct? It provides and different services on BTP. So if you want to do the application development for that, it is already a ready-made infrastructure, and it already providing you the runtime environment where you can easily do the application deployment and development. So that is easily possible. So what about the database? What about the database? Is BTP providing us any source of data source? See, When we have a platform, definitely when you're deploying an application, it requires some database, correct? Where which the database which we can use, the database which can store the data of the application, correct? So we should be able to access the data also if we are using a platform. So within SAP BTP environment, we have SAP HANA Cloud. Okay, SAP BTP provides a powerful database service like SAP HANA Cloud. So your SAP HANA Cloud is one of the, I would say, SAP HANA Cloud. It's the database solution. Okay, it's a database solution and it is very powerful because you are getting access to real-time data. And again, SAP HANA is SAP's in-house product, especially for the database, and it is very fast if you want to access a data from the database. Okay, and it's very efficient for the data storage. So any data management specific, if you want to do, you want to access this data, you want to manage this data, everything you can do it within your SAP BTP landscape. So SAP BTP is providing you the service through which you can easily manage your database. Okay. Now, when we have data stored, when we have application deployed, then we also want to do some analytics. Okay. Because how the data is performing, like are we getting a good profit or not in the organization? Whether the products are in good profit, are they getting sold, or anything we can do to improve our services. So we always what we do, we always keep a watch on the data, how the data is performing, how the company's growth is performing. So we want an high level overview on a data, especially on the data. Based on that, we can decide in the future, like how the company should develop their products and how they can manage their services. So they need at least the overview of the data. So within SAP BTP, it providing us the one of the services like SAP Analytics Cloud. In short, we say CPI, and we say data intelligence, SAP data intelligence, which enables you to gather insights from large data sets. So you can gather the information from the data which is stored within your SAP BTP, and based on that, you can just predict, you can see like how the data is performing, and based on that, you can take decisions. So if you want to build a dashboard, especially on a data, like how the data is performing, so that is very easily possible with the help of SAP BTP because it provides the SAP Analytics Cloud for that. Okay, so SAP Analytics Cloud, SAP Data Intelligence, these solutions are very beneficial when it comes to the data insights. When you want to get the insights of the data, how they are performing, so these solutions are going to help you. So your SAP Analytics, Analytics Cloud and SAP Data Intelligence. Okay, so these are the solutions which SAP BTP is providing, and through these solutions you can manage, you can gather all the different information from the different services and the data, and you can just take an proper decision. Okay, you can do the decision making easily on top of this data. Now, apart from this, there is one more thing that SAP BTP is providing. What is that? What is that? Security. Because when you're deploying any application, when you're integrating, so integration is also one more advantage of BTP because integration you will do, right? So let's say you're building a solution and you want to integrate a non-SAP solutions. So non-SAP solutions you want to integrate. So is it possible in SAP BTP to integrate? Yes, of course it is possible because integration is one of the main feature of your BTP. Okay, it helps you to integrate the services from SAP and non-SAP. You can easily integrate that. Okay, so that is again and part of SAP integration suite, because in BTP we have SAP integration suite and SAP extension suite, using which you can easily integrate any SAP solutions and non-SAP solutions. Okay, so it can be your cloud-based solution or it can be your on-premise solutions. So currently what we are seeing, so if I want to integrate on-premise solution, that is like S4 HANA system, if I want to integrate, or if there is one more system which is not part of SAP, like a non-SAP system, so such services you can easily integrate within BTP, because within BTP we have SAP integration suite and SAP extension suite, which is going to help you for integrating different services. So what is that? We have SAP integration suite and SAP extension suite. Okay, so this is going to help you to integrate a different solutions, a different services you can integrate with the help of this solutions. Okay, now intelligent technologies are there currently. If you see, if you look at the market, uh, everywhere you will just there is only one keyword which is very popular nowadays. What is that? AI, correct? Have you heard about chat GPT, AI, machine learning? These terms are very important nowadays or not, guys? Are these terms are very important nowadays or not?
Yep. Yes.
In any YouTube video, if you're watching any YouTube video, so in between, generally we get a lot of ads. AI, machine learning, learn chat GPT in 1 hour, 3 hours. So there are a lot of things we heard nowadays, correct? So within BTP, we also expect that a BTP should incorporate different services like AI. So artificial intelligence is one of the key service of BTP, which is already there. Machine learning you can do. Internet of things like IoT is possible. Robotic process automation services. All these services is providing by your BTP. So these services are available within your SAP BTP. Okay. So this, because this is going to make customer life easy over the period of time when they are working on a different or complex applications. So if you have a machine learning, artificial intelligence, or IoT, this is going to help you. This is going to help you with integrating different solutions and as well as getting best out of the existing services. So SAP BTP, it provides an intelligent technologies. So in that we have AI, then you have machine learning, then you have internet of things, that is IoT, and robotic process automation. Okay, so all these services are already available within your SAP BTP. Now, when you want to do the extension, so definitely we will use the SAP extension suite. So under SAP extension suite, like if you want to integrate your or extend your S4 HANA system, so this SAP extension suite is going to help you for that. Now, the last and very important term in our SAP BTP is the security, because if we have an environment, if we have all the different services in BTP for the application hosting and to run your app, to deploy your, if each and every service is available on our BTP, but what we need exactly, most important in our platform, the security. So security is one of the very important service that BTP is providing. Okay, so BTP provides a robust security mechanism to manage user access. Like if so mostly this BTP is handled by on a organization level, correct? So if we have a BTP account, so currently if there is a and customer purchased a license for a BTP account, then definitely there will be more than 100, 500, or even more than 1000 users are using the BTP accounts. So to manage all the users, their roles, their access, and what all services they can access within a BTP account. So this is again very important service that BTP is providing. So within SAP BTP, we have a security. So with the help of that security tab, you can manage the access, the role access, the user access to the services and the applications. And also you can decide like which users should see which type of apps. So everything you can configure from a scratch within your SAP BTP. So security and identity management is very important term in SAP BTP. So that is also available, ready-madely available in your BTP. Okay. So these are the basic core concepts of your BTP. So at the end, if if you want to explain what is BTP, so you just have to tell it is an platform which provides different services for application development, for database management, for integration, for extension, for security. So this is like an umbrella of all the services. Okay, it's like a portal, it's like a ocean of all the different services under one single umbrella. So that is your SAP BTP. Okay, guys, at least this is clear. In a basic term, the BTP is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, BTP means no one is going to ask you in interview also what is BTP, but in short, you should be able to answer it. It is just a cloud solution, a cloud platform where you're getting all the ready-made services. So in within a BTP, there are like we have a sub accounts, we have directories, a lot of other things we have, which we will see after this. But so far, it's clear like what is BTP as of now in a basic term. Okay, so let's talk about the history. Like these are the key components. Yeah. Okay, let's understand. So just now we just had an overview about the key components. So currently you can see these are the key components of your BTP, like application development. So if you're building an app from the scratch, so you need a tools, right? You need a tool, you need a runtime environment, you need different services. Like if you're working on a application which requires um, a service for storing documents, for storing attachments. So within BTP, we have document management services. So if you need an environment on which you want to deploy your app and your application will work without any problem. So it has a runtime environment. So specifically for application development, as a developer, what I need a runtime environment. I need tools like SAP Business Application Studio. I need mobile services. I need some extra tools and services through which I can build the apps. I need a services through which I can host my applications like SAP Build Workzone. So I need a service for storing documents. I need and services through which I can do CI/CD like continuous integration and continuous delivery. So such type of things I can easily able to do as a developer. So BTP is providing all such services under application development. So application development is again a key component in your BTP. Then automation. So under automation, like SAP build process automation comes, like where you can manage different workflows, decision rules, process visibility. So this is especially for the workflows. So if there are multiple hierarchy in your organization and you want to manage the different level of approvals, so definitely the workflow management will come into picture for that. Now, when it comes to the integration, when it comes to the extension, okay, like definitely you will do the integration and as well as the extension. So your integration term will be very important here. So SAP providing you the SAP integration suite, SAP extension suite, even event mesh, the business accelerator hub. So a lot of services SAP BTP is providing. Although we are not using everything in our course content, only few of the services we will use, like the CAP, which is like a part of extension suite, which we will cover going forward. Now, we talked about data also. Like when you want to just have an overview, a high level overview about the data. So for that, your SAP Analytics Cloud will be used. For database, your HANA Cloud will be used. And for managing the data, there are different services which BTP is providing. Then last is the AI, like artificial intelligence, machine learning. So all these are core components of your SAP BTP. Okay, so in this only we have to explain. If anyone is asking about like what is BTP, so we have to explain about this core pillars or the main pillars of the BTP: application development, automation, integration, extension, data analytics, and AI. Okay, so let's talk about the history now. Um, So the history of SAP BTP. So how, when it was started, what initially what it was called, and how, which all features that we are able to see recently in BTP, that we will understand. So in 2012, for the first time, the SAP has entered in platform as a service platform market. Okay. So for the first time, they are providing platform as a service uh, cloud service they are providing when in 2012. And when it was introduced, initially they called that platform as SAP NetWeaver Cloud. Okay, so SAP NetWeaver Cloud is the term they have used at initial level. Okay, and which environment, which runtime environment they have introduced at that time? Neo. So Neo is nothing but it's a short form of NetWeaver Cloud. Okay, so it's a short form of NetWeaver on demand. You can see here, that's the short form of the Neo. So we used to call it as a Neo runtime environment. So that was introduced in 2012. Then after 2013, like in 2013, they have renamed SAP NetWeaver Cloud to SAP HANA Cloud Platform. Okay. So I think NetWeaver Cloud, the name is not that much familiar to most of the peoples. So they renamed to SAP HANA Cloud Platform. Just HANA Cloud Platform. Just they have renamed it, but nothing. Um, so new features are not introduced in this platform. But in 2017, so they have introduced the new runtime environment, that is Cloud Foundry environment. So Cloud Foundry is the new runtime environment which they have added in the SAP HANA Cloud Platform. Okay. And finally, in 2017, so the term HANA was dropped and they have renamed just SAP Cloud Platform. So just we used to call it as a SAP Cloud Platform couple of years back. Okay. So just SAP Cloud Platform. And then in 2018, they have rolled out ABAP runtime environment. Means so at initial level, the cloud platform is only for the Fiori apps, for UI5 apps. Okay, there was no provision to deploy ABAP specific applications. But now in 2018 onwards, the ABAP runtime environment was introduced so that the people who are working on ABAP cloud or ABAP specific applications, they can easily deploy their apps on ABAP runtime environments. Then after that, in early 2020, they have introduced Kaima, again, which is a part of a runtime environment. So all these are runtime environments which they have introduced. So now when they have introduced all these different runtime environments, so why they should call it as SAP Cloud Platform? They renamed it as SAP Business Technology Platform. So it is a platform of different technologies with a different services. So finally, it was renamed to SAP BTP. In short, Business Technology Platform. Okay. So this is the basic history of your BTP. So at first, it was called as NetWeaver Cloud, then HANA Cloud Platform, then just Cloud Platform, and finally SAP Business Technology Platform. Okay. Guys, any questions?
Avik, one thing,
Hmm.
Why do we need so many different runtime environments? Like, it's understandable that ABAP
Mm-hmm.
runtime environment was introduced because, as you said initially, the ABAP applications were not being able to be executed on the
Correct,
cloud, right? But
correct.
then
Okay,
after that, you
why
said
they
that
have
the
introduced?
Kaima, and
Correct, correct.
there was one more that you mentioned, right?
Neo,
Foundry.
Neo. So one is Cloud Foundry. Okay, so
Uh-huh.
currently we highly use Cloud Foundry for our BTP cap and as well as for Fiori apps. We use
Uh-huh.
Cloud Foundry only for that. Okay,
Uh-huh.
ABAP is for ABAP specific application. So on Kaima also you can deploy your SAP cap applications. So again, any open source applications you can also deploy on Kaima runtime environment. So Kaima is altogether it's a Google solutions and which Google has introduced. And this Kaima runtime environment is based on Kubernetes. So Kubernetes, it's one of like a service which provides a platform for the applications. Okay, a runtime environment for the applications in a form of container, in a form of containers. It's a self-healing containers. Like, see, when you use any containers, right, and when you deploy any app, for example, let's say you're deploying an application on a cloud. So
Mm.
sometimes happens your so there is a major update for the application, correct? Some update will come or some update will come to the runtime environment. So your Kaima runtime environment will automatically do self update. Okay, it will update and it will manage the downtime also. You don't have to focus on the downtime, so that will be taken care by this runtime environment itself. So this is purely related to SAP and non-SAP solutions. So if you are deploying any SAP and non-SAP solutions, so that can be means just an additional runtime environment they have provided. If people need, they can use this environment. But the best suggestion what SAP provides is the cloud foundry only at the end.
Okay.
Okay, this is just an additional. If you need this service, then you can use if you want.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. I'll see like if we can use this Kaima runtime environment in our course. I'll just explore about this more. If we can deploy apps on this Kaima runtime, definitely I will try to show you at least one example. Okay, I just need to check. So if I get a chance, so definitely we will see one example, a practical example, like how we can deploy in Kaima and exactly how the applications are deployed. Okay,
Okay. And
I'll
and
check.
one more
Hmm.
thing,
Hmm.
in the project life cycle, is it
Hmm.
that runtime you decide at the beginning, or you can decide on the go, like depending upon the application that you want to use. Like for example, you said
Hmm.
the trial accounts of the BTP. Is it something
Hmm.
that we actually decide that okay, which runtime we're going to use for the BTP
Okay,
trial account?
so
Or
very good question for this. Like how we can decide whether we want to go with purely BTP or on-premise, correct? See, if
yeah, that as well. And at
hmm,
which
hmm,
stage we need to actually decide? Is it like has to be decided right at the beginning whether we'll be using the Kaima or Foundry
hmm,
or
hmm,
or on like what would be the thing based on which we decide which one like which
yeah,
runtime to use? Yeah.
correct, correct. See, first of all, so at initial level, like when we start the development, before that only we have to decide, are we going to use SAP BTP purely or on-premise system? Okay, currently in SAP landscape, if any developer is working in SAP, so currently there are two landscape we have. One is your on-premise system, which comes under your SAP S4 HANA, and one is your BTP, which is purely a cloud solution. Okay, so if I'm building a solution from the scratch, so it totally depends on the customer. Like customer has opted for which services at the end, because we are all working for the customers, right? And if customer is okay and he's ready to pay and he's ready to buy all the services which are part of BTP, then definitely he will go with BTP. If he don't want to spend more money on BTP, he is already okay with existing SAP S4 HANA system, then we have to go with on-premise system. Okay, it altogether depends on the current system landscape. So current system landscape means he don't know anything about BTP and he don't want to use any service of BTP, then this runtime environments are not going to help us, right?
Yeah.
So just we will focus on on-premise. And there are
Right.
so many customers so far in SAP, like more than 50 plus customers are there. Still, their applications are being developed and deployed on on-premise, not on BTP. Still, there are so
Mhm.
many customers. There are still, they are not using the most of the like, only they are hardly using 10% services from SAP BTP and maximum 90% services they are using from on-premise. So it all depends on the customer's budget altogether. Like customer want to go with BTP, whether he needs pure cloud solution or on-premise solution. So if customer needs pure cloud solution, so we got a requirement that we have to build a cloud solution, pure cloud solution. And we also have to consider the existing SAP system. So customer already has, he requested a cloud solution, pure cloud solution, and he also requested that he already owns on-premise system. So already is existing SAP system he already owns, and he wants to integrate that system with the cloud solution. So in this case, your BTP will come into picture. So you want to integrate different services and at the same time you want to build a pure cloud solution. Okay, you got my point. So
Yeah.
if you're planning to build a cloud solution and you want to integrate existing SAP solution, so your BTP is going to help you for that. Okay, so
Right.
it's BTP is providing a runtime environment on which you can deploy your app, and at the same time you can integrate seamlessly with a different SAP systems and even non-SAP systems. It's not just about your SAP systems, non-SAP systems also you can integrate in your BTP environment. Okay, now which runtime environment we have to decide. So if you are working on, especially if any SAP customer, okay, a dedicated SAP customer, they will build an SAP apps only at the end. Okay, and they will build an apps like Fiori apps or UI5 application, Fiori elements or CAP application or HANA cloud native applications. So for all this, Cloud Foundry is what SAP recommends. Okay, Cloud Foundry is what a default runtime environment for SAP BTP. And currently we have explored mostly Cloud Foundry only. We didn't get more chance to explore on Kaima especially. But as I said, so I'll check one best example for Kaima, like on Kaima, what type of apps we can deploy and how we can deploy. I'll check and I'll get back to you on this on a Kaima especially.
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. But mostly like in any day-to-day real-time projects, currently we are using Cloud Foundry only because Cloud Foundry supports all the major features, all the Fiori apps, CAP applications, HANA native application, everything is supported in Cloud Foundry entire runtime environment. So that's why we always prefer as a default choice Cloud Foundry.
Okay. And is it possible to use like multiple runtime environments, like depending upon the type of
Correct.
application requirement? It can
Um,
be like a mix of Cloud
mhm.
Foundry
Okay.
and if required,
Mhm.
let's say
So
Kaima as
yeah,
well.
yeah, that I will come to picture. Yeah, within a same sub account, you can also use Cloud Foundry and Kaima at the same time. Both
Okay.
runtime environments at same time you can use, and even ABAP. Three
Okay.
runtimes you can use at same time.
Got it.
Okay,
Got it.
just we have to enable the instance. Like when you enable the runtime environment, the instance will be created. So when any instance is created on a BTP means a service is created. So service will be used on a BTP.